What's good, my people? What's good, my people? It's your boy Dev back with another video, and these playoff previews have been going really well on my channel, so go ahead and hit that like on this video before I even get into it. Hit that sub to my channel at Break It Down Dev. Go ahead and subscribe to my boy Jackson's channel, but let's get into it. So we have the number 1 seed versus the number 4 seed in the East, and that's going to be the Milwaukee Bucks in that number 1 seed versus the Miami Heat in that number 4 seed. These two teams played against each other 3 times this year. The first matchup was on October 26th, where the Heat were able to come out with a victory of 131 to 126. Antetokounmpo had 29 points in this game. Goran Dragic had a really nice game off the bench, scoring 25 points. They played on the second time on March 2nd, and this was another victory by the Heat, where the Heat won 105 to the Bucks 89. Giannis was really locked up in this game, shooting 6 for 18. Robin Lopez had a pretty good game, shooting 8 for 16, 50%. And Chris Middleton was locked up in this game as well, shooting 4 for 16. And then in the last game that they played was in the bubble a couple of weeks ago, and this was on August 6th when the Bucks were able to win 130 to the Heat's 116. Now let's just get into the starting lineup so we can see the matchups that these teams are going to have to put up against each other. We'll start with the Bucks, and they come out with a starting lineup of Brook Lopez, who's averaging 13 points, 4 rebounds, and all of these stats will be playoff stats. So in the 5 games that the Bucks played against the Magic, Brook Lopez averaged 13 points, 4 rebounds. Antetokounmpo was a stud, averaging 30 points, 16 rebounds a game, 6 assists. While giving up 4 turnovers a game, he was shooting 40% from the three-point line. Chris Middleton was a help. He didn't look like the second star on this team for majority of the series, averaging 15 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 turnovers. He was shooting 40% as well. Wesley Matthews, who shot 42% from the three-point line and averaged 8 points. And then Eric Bledsoe, who I really need him to get his stuff together for the Bucks to win this series, who is averaging 12 points and 7 assists. I just think he needs to knock down a few more threes in this series to give the Bucks a chance against the Heat. And so let's switch over to the Heat's lineup. So the Heat come out with a center in Bam Adebayo, who's averaging 15 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists in his 3rd season. That's amazing to see. Jay Crowder comes out in that at that power forward spot, averaging 10 points, 7 rebounds. Jimmy Butler, who's averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals a game, who really looked like a star or a top 5 player or top 10 player in that last series that they had against the Pacers. Duncan Robertson, who's known as a knockdown shooter, is averaging 12 points, 3 rebounds on 44% shooting. Can't leave him open at all, or it will be a guaranteed knockdown 3. And then they switched out the starting point guards, who they had in the regular season for majority of the time at this spot was Kendrick Nunn. Now they switched back to their veteran point guard in Goran Dragic, who's averaging 23 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. And looking really good for the Heat as that leading scorer for them. And then they give the ball to Jimmy in the 4th quarter to dominate that quarter. That's really his quarter. So now let's get to the benches of both teams. So we'll start with the Bucks bench. They have George Hill. It comes off as that 6th man, averaging 9 points, 4 assists. Pat Connaughton is averaging 6 points, 5 rebounds. Kyle Korver is a knockdown shooter who comes in and averages 8 points. Dante DiVincenzo averages 6 points, 43% shooting from the three-point line, 3 rebounds. In only 13 minutes a game, I see him getting more minutes to guard Tyler Hero in this series. And then their 10-man rotation is Marvin Williams, who averages that 6 points and 4 rebounds to finish out their 10-man rotation. Then let's get to the Heat's bench, which is stacked with more talent, I would say. They have Tyler Hero as their 6th man, who averages 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. And as a rookie, looks like a stud and only going to get better in this league. They have Andre Iguodala, who's a veteran who's been through things. He's an MVP. He's a Finals MVP. He knows how to play in the playoffs. Who's averaging 5 points, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds, and one steal a game. And then Kendrick Nunn, like I said, is a nice young piece too as well in that point guard spot, especially if you can have him come off the bench, who's averaging 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Kelly Olynyk is their big off the bench, averaging 6 points, 7 rebounds, and going to have to knock down shots in this series. And then to round out their 10-man rotation is Derrick Jones Jr., who's averaging 2 points and 2 rebounds. But just an exciting player to watch, and someone that the Bucks will have to keep their eyes on just in case he gets hot, or if he starts making a few dunks and then starts turning that momentum towards the Heat. The Bucks don't want that to happen. So the keys to victory for me in this series are Bam versus Giannis. Bam has faced Giannis four other players have faced Giannis more frequently than Bam, and Bam is making Giannis shoot 12 for 22 from the field. That's around 40% shooting, and that's just not going to get it done in the playoffs, and I see this matchup happening again in the playoffs. Bam is going to be guarding Giannis. They're going to build a wall around Bam just to help him out. They might let him be on an island for a first couple of plays and see how it goes. Bam just has the body, he has the height, he has the athleticism, the speed to keep up with Giannis and make shots tough for him at the basket. Giannis won't be able to just run through him and put up easy shots like he is against other teams. Bam is only giving up 5 free throws in 3 games against Giannis, and that's crazy to see. Now, no one can stop Giannis, but if you can slow him down, then you did your job. And if he can continue to be that same player on offense who's averaging 15 points and 5 assists, pushing the break for them even on plays, it's funny to see the biggest man get a rebound, walk down the court or run down the court, and they run a play for Bam with him in that point guard spot almost. The next key to victory for me is 3-point shooting. So the Bucks love to give up threes. Like I said in the last video, they love to give up open threes. They force you to take threes slightly contested and open threes instead of giving you a shot at the paint. They don't. Their team this year gave up the least amount of points at the rim, and they continued that in the first round of playoffs. But what's so crazy is the Heat team scores the least amount of points in the paint. They're a 3-point shooting team, so they're going to need Goran Dragic, Duncan Robertson, Jay Crowder, Tyler Hero, Kelly Olynyk to knock down these open shots or semi-contested shots for the Heat to have a chance to win this series. Now we'll get to the head coaches, and then we'll get to my predictions to finish out the video. So we'll start with the Milwaukee Bucks head coach and Mike Budenholzer, who has a 31-28 playoff record. A lot of these games were with the with the Hawks. Past few years, he's been with the Bucks since 2018, and his record is 14-6 with the Bucks in the playoffs. We haven't seen him be able to get this team to the finals, so we still have to see what Mike Budenholzer can do in the playoffs with this team or with any team. If make sure he's not just a regular season coach. Then Mike Budenholzer. Then Eric Spoelstra is the head coach of the Miami Heat, who has a 75-47 playoff record. Majority of these games were with the LeBron James, D Wade, and Chris Bosh era, and he did get 2 titles in that, but he was the head coach of the team, so that is his team, and he's had this spot as the head coach since 2008, 12 years with the Heat. So he's been through things, he's been in finals moments, he knows last 2 minutes of game calls, after timeout calls, and Pat Riley really has the trust in him to lead the Heat to the promised land. So with all this being said, the Bucks have the best player on the court in Giannis. Then they have the 3rd best player on the court in Chris Middleton. So to stack that up, you would think a lot of people would say that the Bucks are going to win the series just by having the best couple of players on the court. But the full team of Bam Adebayo, Jay Crowder, Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, Goran Dragic, Tyler Hero off the bench, that's hard to stack up with against, especially when they have a Giannis stopper. I wouldn't say a Giannis stopper, a Giannis band-aid to slow down Giannis and Bam Adebayo. That's going to be a real key factor in this, and he's a young player, very athletic. So I have the Heat winning this series 4-3, y'all. Let me know what you got to say in the comments. If you think I'm completely wrong, tell me why you think the Bucks will win this series. How many games do you think the Heat will win? And thanks for watching my video. It's your boy Dev. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button to my channel at Break It Down Dev. Hit the subscribe button to my boy Jackson Kruger Sports channel. I want to thank you for watching my video again. Stay easy.